Yes. Yes, indeed. If you are vibing to the smooth, sultry sounds, then that means you are in the right place at the right time. You are now tuned in to yet another AMP Sports Slow It Down Sunday edition. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited because all seems to be well in the world because football is back. That's right, football is back, and that means your Dallas Cowboys are back, ready to take care of business. Now, we've already had 4 days of camp in the books. A lot has taken place over those 4 days. And tonight we're going to dive into exactly what happened, who's doing what, who's present, who's not present, who's hurt, who's not hurt. AMP is going to give it to y'all. So y'all sit back, get comfortable, grab whatever it is that you need to take you on this ride. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all come on in. Come on in. Oh yeah, I'm feeling good, y'all. Better yet, I'm feeling great. Y'all come on in. It's about that time. Yeah. Yes. 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 I feel it. I feel it. Yes. It is in the air, y'all. And I ain't talking about the smoke. I'm talking about the beautiful, sweet smell of football. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Football is back. Most importantly, your Dallas Cowboys are back. Back in Oxnard, to be exact. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. I'm going to put this disclaimer out there early because I don't want any confusion. We all know how things ended on last season. Notice I said last season against Green Bay. We all know what happened. There is nothing that we can do about Green Bay right now. But what we can do is we can look to the future. We can be Debbie Downers all we want to, but where is that going to get us? Absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. It does nothing for you. It does nothing for me. It does nothing for the players. It does nothing for the franchise. So what I have personally vowed to do is make the best of the 2024 season. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. It don't matter because AMP ain't going nowhere. Yes, I know that is incorrect English, but I ain't going nowhere. I've been riding this thing for a long time. Pause. I've been riding with the squad for a long time. For you to call yourself a diehard, for you to holler out DC4L, what does that mean if you do not stick with your team through thick and thin? Look, it's been 200 and some odd days since we last saw live football. And quite honestly, y'all, I hate that time of year, like post-draft, especially after OTAs, it gets ridiculously quiet. We didn't have really any major off-season snafus, if you will. No big stories with the exception of the contract. So outside of forecasting, it has not been a whole lot to discuss and talk about regarding your Dallas Cowboys. But that's over now because training camp is back. I'm back, and your Dallas Cowboys are officially back in Oxnard for their 24th season. Now, this time of year, y'all, we hear so much. So many people have been itching to lay their eyes on the new players, new coaching staff, how the guys look on the field, and it is all well and good. I am here for all of it. Some of the reports are great. Some of them are a little bit goofy. Some are not so great. And unfortunately, on tonight, we will start with the not so great news. And that is defensive end edge rusher Sam Williams, as of just a few moments ago, has been officially ruled out for the 2024 NFL season with not only a torn ACL, but torn MCL as well. I know. I did drop a video a couple hours ago when the news first broke that he was carted off the field. Initially, I thought it was just him going through drills and, he went down on his own. But from what I was told, it was actually a situation where he was engaged in a block or getting off of a block, and that's when he went down. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter how it happened, but nonetheless, it is very unfortunate to have lost this guy. I mean, he's had his fair share of difficulties since he has been with the Cowboys. He's received a lot of negative criticism in some instances. Unfortunately, with how things went in free agency, we lost a couple of guys at that position, and the depth isn't quite there yet. And so he has not really had an opportunity to shine in the way that you would anticipate based off of his potential. And in a season where it looks like he may have been getting ready to turn the corner, unfortunately, that opportunity has been taken from him, and we will have to wait until the 2025 season to see what Sam Williams has to offer. Again, as I stated earlier, my thoughts and prayers go out to him, his family as well, his supporting cast, because this is going to be a very taxing and trying time for him, not only physically, but mentally as well. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking from personal experience. You are talking to a gentleman tonight who is, quite honestly, almost a year, just a few days shy of a year since I too had my own knee surgery. And I'm not the athlete I once was. I'm not in the shape I once was, but I'm still a fairly active young man. Still on the east side of 40. But it still bothers me to this day. As a matter of fact, I missed 3 days of work last week because I was experiencing some new difficulties on this knee. And I'm going to be quite honest with y'all. And again, this is personal experience, but when I was released from medical care from the doctors, the orthopedic doctors, about January of this year, the doctor looked me dead in my eye and he said, "You know what? You're making good progress. You still have a little scar tissue." He says, "But I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to have difficulties in that knee for the rest of your life." And I mean, the surgeon I went to is one of the best in the city. He's been doing it for about 30 years easily, I know. He even performed surgeries on my mother and quite a few other individuals that I know. But he said, "You will never quite be the same and you will always experience difficulties." As a matter of fact, when I touch the left side of my knee, it's somewhat numb to the touch, and that is constant. Because once individuals go in and they cut on you, those nerve endings, when they are severed, they are never the same. And so the sensation is different. It's weird. As good as I have come in my rehab, it ain't the same. The strength is not the same. The functionality of it is not the same. Range of motion is not the same. Some days are better than others, but it's something I'm always have to deal with. So with that in mind, again, prayers go out to Sam Williams as he sustained, as I said earlier, not only an ACL tear, but an MCL tear as well. So, we have had some individuals, unfortunately, over the last couple of seasons who have sustained ACL tears. Now, we don't know to what degree. They didn't state whether it was a partial or a clean tear. Physicians will tell you a clean tear, and in a lot of instances, is better than a partial. Nonetheless, we don't know what his rehab will look like. Granted, it is very early on in 2024, but if I had to guess and shoot at it right now, you've got individuals who hurt their ACL this time last year and are still rehabbing. But Sam Williams tore two ligaments. So I reckon his process may take a little longer, may even spill into the beginning of the 2025 season. Again, praying for total restoration and a speedy recovery for him, but that leaves the Cowboys with a question mark at that position. Now, transitioning, we did draft another edge rusher this offseason in Marshawn Nealon, and that was day 2 of the draft. And at the time, I had the pleasure to do that show with Boss Cowboy, and at that time, a lot of individuals were kind of questioning the move. And when I really took a look at that player in real time, I said, you know what? This guy is very solid in run stopping. He does a great job of setting the edge. He could very well be an X factor, if you will, to at least hold that position down on first and second downs, to give our star player, Mr. Micah Parsons, an opportunity to play a little bit more off ball. Excuse me. Now, to me, that is exciting because, you know, as good as Micah Parsons is, as great of a pass rusher as he is, I wanted to see him be a little bit more versatile, have the opportunity to move around, because I'm telling you, the league is not happy about what Micah Parsons is doing, okay? And you have some of your great defensive coordinators who will scheme him out of the game, the same way we saw Green Bay do back in January, the same way we saw San Fran do it mid-season last year. And so I think by moving Micah around and making it unpredictable and not being able to lock in and hone in on where he's going to be, moving him around could actually be the best thing for him. And it could be the best thing for this defense. But that is going to be predicated on the play of your defensive line and especially your defensive end in Marshawn Nealon. Now, if he can do what I believe he is capable of doing, I think he makes the job better for your new linebacking core. Now, he is still very wet behind the ears. And this is another added layer of pressure for him as he gets acclimated to the NFL. But it's an opportunity. And if he is who he says he is, he's going to have to seize the moment. But not only him, but ladies and gentlemen, that opens up the door for a couple of other individuals. That opens the door up for opportunities for Junior Fiocco. It opens up the door for Tyus Wheat. It opens up the door for Darrell Johnson. Like, there are other individuals who can potentially benefit because of the injury sustained to Sam Williams. Now, what we have seen in the first couple of days of training camp is your defensive coaching staff getting very, very spicy in mixing things up. I mean, day 1 and 2, we saw them basically playing musical chairs. I mean, you got individuals in positions where they are not normally accustomed to playing. You had Tank playing on the right side in some instances. You had, matter of fact, Nealon at one point was playing a little bit of 3-tech. So they are bouncing guys all around the line. Now, what I don't want people to mistake that for is the fact that because you are seeing a certain player in a certain position over these next couple of weeks, that means that you will see them there during the season. Because in the past, we've seen that. We've seen guys playing in different positions. We've seen certain schemes. And we were like, okay, yeah, new dimension. I like it. I love it. You know, like for instance, and this is just one example for this year, Deuce Vaughn lining up at slot. Now, that could be a couple of different things. That could just be, hey, we're trying to further develop his hands. That could be, hey, the running back room is deep and we're trying to find a way to use this weapon, so we want to kind of try him out here. Or, hey, the wide receiver room is not quite locked in after wide receiver one, so we want to give as many guys, as many opportunities, as many looks, so that we can get the best 3 or 4 on the field at a time. But again, that does not mean that that's necessarily where you are going to see them when they suit up week 1 or any of the other 16 games this season. But what they do is they just try to get a feel for players, because you got to understand, you have a new defensive coordinator this year in Mike Zimmer, and though I know he has combed through plenty of hours of tape, he's trying to get a feel in real time with his eyes in a controlled environment of what these players have to offer. You know, you may note and understand what a certain player's strengths are, what is what he does best, you know, but to get a feel to know what that player is really capable of doing, sometimes you got to put them in different spots, and you never know. You know, you throw the spaghetti up on the wall, and hey, if it sticks, it sticks. And that might be something that you can use or put in your back pocket for your repertoire going forward during the season. Now, something else that I thought was very interesting is I had an opportunity to watch one of the training camp updates with Vach Lombardi and Brian Broaddus, and Broaddus brought out a very, very interesting point, and it was regarding DaRon Bland, and he stated that prior to coming to the Dallas Cowboys, DaRon Bland had never played slot corner. Now, to me, that was absolutely baffling, because, you know, when Jordan Lewis got injured not too long ago and Bland stepped in and filled that role, he did a pretty solid job at it, y'all. And again, that was his first season ever in life playing slot corner. He has always been on the outside. So the fact that he was able to take on a new role, oh my God. And then not only be serviceable, but to actually be good at it. See, that's stuff that you kind of find out when you're pushing the envelope for your players and putting them in positions that they aren't normally accustomed to, and you get positive results. You never know what you got until you try. And I'm super excited. You know, unfortunately, you know, Dan Quinn is no longer with us, but I believe that Mike Zimmer, he's on a 1-year deal, but I believe he is going to do everything in his power to max out the potential of the cast of this defense. I really believe it, y'all. I really believe it. And that's what you get when you're dealing with a seasoned coach. Somebody who understands the ins and outs of the game, the nuances, and not only understanding the game, but understanding how to get the most out of your players. And I think that fact alone may be the X factor for why several players on your defense take a next step in the 2024 season. I'm hearing reports. I'm hearing good things. Now, I know it's early. I know we only a couple of days into this thing, so I'm not being super optimistic, but I do like what I'm hearing. Kalen Carson, one of our draft picks, had a great day in camp today. Couple of interceptions. I mean, just making plays. And if you know anything about this channel, we are all about making plays. Now, he's one. Now, yes, I know he's a second-year player, but Mr. Overshown has showed up to camp, y'all, and he is looking good. He's looking solid. He is looking chiseled. I believe that he can make an impact on the team this year. I've been hearing noise about him. I've been hearing good things about Leofau. I've been hearing good things about our newly acquired middle linebacker, Mr. Kendricks. The fact that he is able to command the defense, to get individuals in position, and really just be a solid force in that middle for us. It's something, quite honestly, that we have lacked since, truth be told, since Sean Lee left us. We've had a couple of guys who have stood in and done a pretty admirable job, but I'm excited. I'm excited. Former LB, I'm really excited in what this team has done. I know we poo-poo on Jerry and Steven a lot because of what they don't do. But y'all, in 1 year's time, they have completely flipped the linebacker room. LVE is no longer with us. Unfortunately, he has decided to hang it up and retire. But you've got Kendricks, you've got Leofau, you've got Overshown, you've got Clark. I mean, y'all, the list goes on. And I think that will give us not only depth, but it will give us flexibility for situational football. And it will also allow us to truly run an honest 4-3 this season. I'm excited, y'all. I am excited. Shifting gears to your D-line. Unfortunately, I know Mozzie is battling back from injury. But and that may still be a situation that the Cowboys addressed in the upcoming months leading into the season. But as of right now, you've got Mozzie, recently acquired 7th pick Josh Rogers. We've got Carl Davis. I'm not sure about those other individuals, but from what I'm hearing, Mozzie is coming along slowly. And the job that your linebackers do this season will be predicated on how that front handles their business. Are they plugging things up? Are they keeping your LBs clean? Because we could flip the LB room all we want, y'all. But if things are murky and muddy for them, it's going to be a long season. And you heard Jerry and Steven. They want to be better in stopping the run and establishing the run. And I'm telling you, front seven, they're going to have to bring it. Because you saw toward the second half of the season, teams felt like they could have their way with us in that aspect, and they just gave it to us. Detroit gave it to us. Miami, when they needed to close the game out, they gave it to us. And that didn't just start this year, y'all. It's been a problem for quite some time now. But it reeks its ugly head at moments where we need it not to. And your good offensive coordinators are saying, you know what? I don't have to worry about slinging it around 35, 40 times. I don't. Not when you can run at will. Now, Trevon Diggs is still recovering from injury. He has been working the chords in practice and doing some things off to the side with Britt Brown. It's no rush to get him out there now. It's not. It's no need to. And this gives, just like the Sam Williams situation, this gives the opportunity for your young guys to step up and be seen, to stack good days, to win the crowd, to get some solid experience and reps under your belt, and to make a name for yourself and to truly earn the star. Now, we did part ways with Stephon Gilmore after last year. As far as I know, he is still a free agent. I know he was battling an injury. I don't know if he is his cleared waivers of any sort yet, or he's been cleared to go. I don't know if that's why teams are standoffish, or if it's simply a situation to where they may decide to, for depth purposes or needs purposes, decide to add him on later as camp goes on, once they get an opportunity to truly evaluate the guys that they already have in the building, us included. Some people are getting all wrapped up about who's running with the ones, who's running with the twos, right? But I listened to the press conference from Mike McCarthy. I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday. And he was talking about reps and talking about individuals playing in certain positions and which groups they went with. And he says, he said something very important. And he said, we try to create opportunities for competition. Because how much more effort are you going to get out of a guy who knows he has a spot locked in because he does not fear the individuals who are behind him, versus somebody who has somebody breathing down their neck, shooting for their spot? Naturally, you would see a heightened level of play, of competition, of output, because they are worried about losing their spot. And so the more opportunities we have to create these competitions, and ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of them on this team that I'm excited about. But the more we have situations like that, I truly believe it is what is going to make our team better. Not just for the short term, but for the long run. Because you have individuals who are getting super value reps, and even if they may fall short of their goal and locking down that starting role, developing well enough can actually still make their way onto the playing field. So what, you aren't a starter, but you make it in the game. Hats off to you. You're talking about the best couple thousand individuals in this sport in the world. So for you to make it onto the field, you had to have been doing something right. Speaking of right, Nahshon Wright, he's been around for a couple of years. Eric Scott Jr., he's been around a little while now. I was told that those individuals on the first couple of days were getting heavy reps in the absence of Trevon Diggs. I do not know how much more they will get. The way that Kalen Carson has played the last couple of days. He is definitely turning heads. He's making a name for himself. His teammates speak highly of him. Great kid, great personality, asks questions, listens, and he's also able to apply what it is that he is learning on the field in real time. Al Harris is already taking a liking to him. Mike Zimmer is already taking a liking to him. And y'all know, like I know, when you have people that will vouch for you on that coaching staff, it makes the world of a difference. It makes an absolute world of a difference. And so you will see that not only in that position, but other positions as well. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. Safety room, plenty of competition. You know, Wanye, Dono. We got some thumpers. We got some thumpers in that safety room. I think they can improve in coverage a little bit better, but I'm not too worried about that because I know Zimmer and Al, and that secondary is Zim's specialty. Him and Al together will get that secondary where it needs to be. So for that, I am excited. Look, this time of year, y'all, you know what it is. The cream rises to the top, and I'm excited. I mean, 2 weeks from today, we got our first live action, first preseason game of the season. I believe we're taking on, the LA Chargers out in LA. That'll be awesome. Short trip for us. You know, we get the opportunity to lay our eyes live on these guys, get some film on them. That'll be an opportunity for your coaches to go out and correct some things. You know, that gives players an opportunity to kind of measure themselves and see where they are, you know, as far as their development for this season. Dallas, over the last couple of years since Mike McCarthy has been here, has not really played their starters. So people like Trey Lance will get plenty of opportunities to succeed, fail, scrape up their knees, whatever. The training wheels pretty much come off at that point. And you're going against guys who are trying to win positions on their teams as well, you know? So I'm excited, y'all. Your offense is Dak in them, y'all. It's Dak in them. Now, despite your head coach and offensive coordinator being on a 1-year deal, despite your quarterback being on a current 1-year deal, despite your star wide receiver being on a current 1-year deal, I am liking the way that my offense is shaping up for this season. Dak is an obvious head over heels QB1. Trey Lance is still Cooper Rush is still holding down the QB2 spot at the moment. Now, I'm going to tell you something. A couple weeks ago, I saw something a little goofy. And I was watching the Big Time Show. I was watching one of his lives. And he said something that I had actually remembered seeing. Now, I check the depth chart fairly often. And on this particular day, when I checked the depth chart, I was like, the hell? Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all, they had Trey Lance listed as QB2. They also had Guyton listed as your left tackle, and they also had BB listed, They had Hoffman listed as your starting center. But when I saw QB2 and I looked at I said, Trey Lance, what has he done to earn that spot? Now, since then, it has reverted back to Cooper Rush. So I don't know if that was a clerical error. That was something that they were trying. They were trying to give Trey some more looks so that they could further evaluate him. I don't know what it was. And who knows, he may end out edging out Cooper Rush by the time the training camp concludes. I don't know. I don't know if Cooper Rush will even have a fair opportunity to defend his QB2 throne. I don't know. But what I do know is we will get an opportunity to see both of them heavily. Now, your offensive line. Unfortunately, we did lose 2/3 of our offensive, 2/5 of our offensive line this past offseason. We lost Tyron Smith to the New York Jets, and I'm not even sure where Tyler Biadasz went. Nonetheless, as far as left tackle, we currently have returning veteran Chuma Edoga on the roster. In day one, he was out there with the ones. And then you have your newly acquired first-round pick, Tyler Guyton, as left tackle number 2. We still have Awesome Richards on the roster. I don't know how many looks he has received. I haven't really heard any reports regarding him. But just looking on the offensive side, it appears that, especially with the line, that they are making the rookies, in essence, earn their star. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm going to be honest. Yes, you don't want to just give it to them. You don't just want to say, hey, we drafted you because we were in a crunch, because we lost some guys, and, we drafted you and we believe in you, and you're gonna be our guy day one. I personally do not think that is the best way to handle or deal with your rookie talent, because in some instances, when you have guys who are given the keys to the Lambo before they even get their regular driver's license, they got a permit. As far as I'm concerned, that's a recipe for disaster. Individuals appreciate and work for things more when they have to earn it. Could be a strategy by your coaching staff, and if it is, kudos to them. Now, I do not want the earn the star movement to hinder their growth. I still want them to get all of the reps that they possibly can get to further develop their skills. We do know that these gentlemen, these O-linemen, have been working with Duke Manyweather this offseason, which is great news, because if you know anything about Duke Manyweather, you know that when he puts his hands on you, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost like the King Midas touch. He put his hands on Tyler Smith, and you see what happened. Even the veterans, hell, majority of our offensive line has worked with Duke Manyweather this offseason. And to me, that shows ownership. It shows pride. It shows drive. It shows determination. And these individuals truly care about improving their craft. Those are the things that you want to see from your players, potential starters. That's what you want to see. I know I do. When nobody's looking, when nobody's watching, when the lights ain't on, when the camera ain't on, you are grinding and working, trying to perfect your craft. That's when you get better. You don't have time to get better during the season, because the weeks go by just like that. They go by so quickly. And you are game planning for your opponent. You ain't got time to, figure out and polish up on your technique. It can't be on you. It got to be in you. And so, if you all haven't heard by now, the pads do come on Tuesday. Look, I can remember back when I was playing ball, you got some guys who will be, absolute superstars in t-shirts and shorts. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, they disappear when them pads come on. See, ladies and gentlemen, them pads come on. That is what separates the men from the boys. Now, I know the NFL and the collective bargaining agreement has softened things up And in Dallas, things are a little bit softer than what they need to be at times. But this is how you get a true analysis of what the trench warfare looks like. O-line versus D-line. Tackle versus edge. Guard versus 3 tech and 1 tech. Center versus nose. That's how you analyze. As long as you in shorts and t-shirts, yeah, it's cool. You might be able to, judge and look at the footwork. But putting it all together with the pads on and the contact, that's when you find out. That's also an opportunity where you find out and are better able to evaluate your run game. And that goes for either side of the ball. How are they stopping the run? And how are they establishing the run? Now we have and forgive me when I say this. Yo, my dog, what's good, man? Hey, Dot, I see you in the building, man. Appreciate you for joining tonight, dog. Now, as Law would say, don't shake me with the butter knife, but we do have a stable of backs. I know. Now, I am appreciative that, the Cowboys did decide to bring back Ezekiel Elliott. We do have Royce Freeman, who was acquired this offseason. Unfortunately, Tony Pollard is no longer with us, but we still got Hunter Luepke. We've got Snoop Connor, Malik Davis, and it's somebody else I'm forgetting. Let's see. Zeke, Rico, Deuce, Royce, Malik, Snoop Connor, and Nathaniel Pete. That's right. And Hunter Luepke. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is 7 running backs and a fullback. Now, we all know all of them ain't going to make the team, and all of them won't make the practice squad either. I like the fact that we have numbers in that aspect in preseason, just so you can get multiple looks from different guys. But from what I am hearing, day one, more than likely, your starter will be Ezekiel Elliott. Now, that does not necessarily mean that he will get the bulk of the carries, but he will be more than likely your starter day one, unless they go out and make another acquisition. Now, we all know that Mike McCarthy is not crazy about the run game, but he does know how to use it. And I think and I believe he understands the importance of being balanced and playing complementary football, controlling the time of possession, establishing long drives, giving your defense an opportunity to rest. That, ladies and gentlemen, that room, that aspect of the scheme will be important for us. Not only during the season, but especially come postseason time. I did a show a couple of weeks ago talking about how to make your Dallas Cowboys fireproof in 2024. And 2 major aspects that I focused on outside of the offense. And that was having a solid defense that could not only create turnovers, be decent in coverage, but able to stop the run. But also it is going to be paramount that we establish a running game in 2024. going back to last year when he was interviewed this time, your OC Schottenheimer stated that, we want to be able to run the ball when teams know that we're running the ball. And I felt like at times last season that was not always the case. Okay? That was not always the case. Now, there's two ways to look at this. Yes, I know we didn't get the running back that we wanted in the draft. That's gone. We cannot focus on that anymore. We can't dwell on it. But I think with the improvement of our offensive line, you may still see an improvement in your running game. I believe that in my heart of hearts. I believe that having a better line will make things better for your running backs. Now, they still going to have to run. They still going to have to make it shake. They still going to have to scratch and claw. But I think it makes their job easier when you've got more beef in front of them. Beef that can move people out of the way. Tyron Smith, future Hall of Famer, as great as he is, he didn't always do so well in run support. Tyler Biadasz, in a lot of instances, being undersized, was not always the ideal candidate to run support. And I also believe that having a solid running game can also make things better for Dak Prescott in your passing game. I don't think teams feared or respected our run enough last year. And basically they would just dare us to throw the ball, right? And you saw what happened in Green Bay. Double up on CD. Hey, pick your poison. What answers did we have? It took us a while to get cooking that game. And by the time we got cooking, guess what? It was already over with. Now, with that being said, I do appreciate what I have been hearing coming out of camp regarding your young receiver core. I've been hearing good things about Jalen Tolbert. I look for him to really turn the corner this year. Michael Gallup, unfortunately, is no longer with us. He did sign with the Raiders this offseason, but ultimately decided that it was time for him to hang up his cleats. And so to that, we wish him much success as he transitions into a different stage in his life. God bless him and his family. So there's a void. And there will be a strong battle, I believe, for wide receiver 2/wide receiver 3. We've been hearing good things about Tolbert. I saw a play of his where I believe Dak hit him with the back shoulder throw near the end zone. He got his head around, turned, hands on the ball, dove to the pylon, and I was like, okay, Tolbert, I see you, dog. Just, again, making plays. And that is a situation where you just got to stack them and stack them and stack them and stack them to where it almost becomes second nature, and that's who you are now. Cooks got off to a rough start last season, and I don't necessarily believe it was rough because of him, but I believe that it was rough because I think we just had to figure out how to properly use him, being quite honest. And you saw the chemistry build between him and Dak as the season went on, and a couple of games, man, it was like butter. So with that, you also have the other Jalen. I have been hearing and seeing a lot of good things regarding Jalen Brooks. I've been hearing some good things about Ryan Flournoy. So it is going to be, and Kevontae Turpin. I know small, I know undersized, but he possesses a speed and a quickness that makes him a threat nonetheless in the passing game. And because CD is out, these individuals are getting a lot of looks. It goes the same for the tight end room. That's another room where it's you got Jake in them. Schoolmaker is in year 2. Battled injuries last year. I think he may still be battling an injury at the moment. John Stevens Jr. is returning from injury. He has been looking good. He has been making and stacking plays. You've been hearing a lot of noise about Brevin Spann-Ford as well as Princeton Fant. When given opportunities, they have been making the best of it. I have not heard a whole lot about Peyton Hendershot, and he is definitely an individual I would put on bubble watch at this point in time. Now, I did see a lot of things that I liked from Hendershot in year 1. Last year, he kind of, quieted down and tapered off a little bit. But he's going to have to fight. He got some dogs breathing down his neck. And ultimately, this is a league where individuals a lot of times become prisoners of the moment. And the question arises, what have you done for me lately? So he is definitely going to have to step it up. Like I said, you got Jake and them. And looking back to the roster on last season, the team opted to carry 4 tight ends. And so that basically leaves, so you got Jake, you got your second round pick last year, Schoon. I believe they still reserve a spot for him because they're still analyzing his game and what he could potentially bring to the team. So that really leaves 2 positions open for about 3 or 4 guys. So if they want to be on this team, they are going to have to fight, claw tooth and nail to make it happen. Like I said, pads come on Tuesday. We are 4 days into camp. Your first 2, kind of had a OTA type feel to it. They are still installing the playbook. They are focusing on these young players, trying to get them up to speed so they know their roles, responsibilities, reads, etc. But at the end of the day, you got to make the plays. You got to make the plays. Saturday was pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, it was more of a PR situation in practice. But it was a walkthrough, if you will. Guys didn't even have their helmets on. They had on buckets and fitteds and snapbacks, and they were going at about half speed. Quarterbacks weren't even throwing the ball deep. You had coaches or ball guys throwing it for the quarterbacks. Even when they had field goal attempts, they were going through the motions, but they didn't even kick the ball. Today, we kind of picked things up a little bit. Picked it up a notch, ratcheted it up. You got a lot of good competition. A lot of battles, especially for your skill position guys, whether it be running or passing. Those individuals got some good work today. The team will have tomorrow off, and then they will return on Tuesday. They will return on Tuesday, and it is believed that will be your first day of full pads. Again, I'm excited because that means we are really going to get a look at the trenches. And like I stated earlier, it's what separates the men from the boys. It really is. So y'all continue to look for me. Look for the channel. Look for the updates as I drop information as it's presented to us throughout the duration of training camp. I truly appreciate y'all for joining me this evening. I'm just excited, y'all, because football is back. I had to do a show this evening. I was chomping at the bit to get back behind the camera to see y'all or speak with y'all. Again, it's exciting time, so we can see what our team will look like for the 2024 season. And like I stated earlier, 2 weeks away from live action, y'all. I will be tuned in. I will be watching. I will have my clipboard. Because I want to see what the shape and the mold of this team will look like. We are still in the very early stages of training camp, and this is the moment where you set the tone. You set the tone. You set the atmosphere for this season. It goes without saying that we still all have a bad taste in our mouth from the end of last season. But don't take that feeling and let it weigh you down in this season. But use that to motivate you as fuel to be better, to give that much more. I saw a clip. Practice was over with. And up against the fence line, there was one of those single sleds. And Hunter Lupke was getting down in position. No other coaches around, and he was just pow, firing off and engaging that box. Pow, firing off. And I said, that is an individual who wants it. See, again, when the crowd is left for the day, ain't nobody really watching you like that. Ain't nobody checking for you. You done been out in the sun. You're tired. You probably lift earlier that morning. Body's starting to feel a little sore because you're getting back in the swing of things. And once they break that huddle, instead of you jogging off and heading to the locker room to shower up and change, you stay around to put in extra work. As far as I'm concerned, Hunter Luke, he got a check mark from AMP. It's going to be things like that. It's the small things, y'all, that separate teams from an early playoff exit to holding up that Lombardi trophy at the end of the season. That's what separates the men from the boys. Hey, as I end every show, good, better, best, never let it rest until your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Until next time, Cowboys Nation, y'all be blessed. Stay tuned for the updates, the video drops. I'll be dropping them multiple times during the week. But hey, y'all, training camp is here. And I'm going to leave you with this. You can't spell camp without amp. Y'all take care.